Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and on this video I am going to be giving you an update on some of Chelsea's transfer news. So there is lots to talk about. So the first topic of the development I'm going to start with is Allison, who's currently the Liverpool goalkeeper. Now it has been revealed that Chelsea held negotiations over signing Allison, but they ended their interest in the goalkeeper, and the main explanation why they ended their interest is because Chelsea believed they could have convinced Courtois to remain loyal with them, but that didn't happen. Courtois made a move to Real Madrid, but Chelsea did sign Kepa, didn't they? So they didn't end up getting Allison. Obviously Liverpool ended up signing Allison. They paid around £67 million for Allison from Roma back in 2018. And I think, he's gone on to make like 58 appearances in the Premier League for Liverpool. And probably, is the best goalkeeper now in the world is Allison Becker. And I think last year he was named the best FIFA goalkeeper and that. So Chelsea, were at advanced negotiations over getting Allison, but the deal never materialised in that. So that's the latest news on that. Also, want to give you the latest news now on Philippe Coutinho and Alex Telles from Porto. Now, reportedly Chelsea are in advanced talks over signing Philippe Coutinho and Alex Telles. Now, of course, Philippe Coutinho has been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Now, Chelsea have expressed their interest. I think also too Tottenham have expressed their interest in the player. Now, Philippe Coutinho, of course, is on loan at Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich did pay around €8.5 million to get him on loan. Obviously, I don't know how he's performed at Bayern Munich because I haven't really watched him in action at Bayern Munich. Obviously, Barcelona did purchase Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool back in January 2018. They paid around £142 million. So I think Philippe Coutinho is like the third most expensive player in the world. And I think he's got a contract with Barcelona. Isn't it until 2024? But Philippe Coutinho, was a flop at Barcelona. Got to say, enjoyed 5 good years with Liverpool, did Philippe Coutinho. Philippe Coutinho is predominantly an attacking midfielder. I think he can also play as a winner. You can also deploy him as a second striker. So his versatility is very, very good. Philippe Coutinho is the age of 27. So he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. Liverpool did make a huge profit on the player, by the way, because Liverpool only paid just over £8 million in from Inter Milan. Philippe Coutinho began his senior career with Inter Milan. He also had a loan spell with Espanyol, why I actually believe he played under Mauricio Pochettino's guidance, did Philippe Coutinho. So I think, Barcelona will be looking to get around in the £90 million range for Philippe Coutinho, but Chelsea are making plans for the summer transfer window. They've already got one player on the board for the summer, and that's Hakim Ziyech from Ajax, who I think they've paid £30 million for, so he's going to arrive at Chelsea in the summer. So this Alex Telles, he currently plays for Porto, he's a fullback. Don't really know much about the player, to be quite honest with you, but it has been revealed that Porto do want around €40 million for the player, which equates to around 35 million in pounds sterling. I think he's got a contract with Porto until 2021. So yeah, so Chelsea looking to get, deals over the line for Coutinho and Alex Telles. Now, I do believe, that Frank Lampard will definitely, be given at least a couple of more transfer windows at Chelsea. Chelsea are going to give Lampard more time anyway because, this is his first full season as Chelsea manager. Obviously, Frank Lampard is inexperienced as a manager because he only began his managerial career last season with Derby. Got to give him a lot of credit though because, he did progress Derby to the playoff final, did Frank Lampard. And, Lampard obviously knows Chelsea well. He knows the culture of their club because he enjoyed 13 years at Chelsea, did Frank Lampard. He's their all-time leading goal scorer with 211 goals. And, Chelsea, like I mentioned, have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. And I don't think they'll sack Frank Lampard as yet. But the longer he remains in the Chelsea job, he's going to be gaining more managerial experience. And Lampard, to be fair, enjoyed a good start to his managerial career with Chelsea, but hasn't been so good recently. But obviously, Chelsea, did sack Maurizio Sarri at the end of last season, despite the fact that he won the Europa League with Chelsea. Plus, last season, Chelsea got to the League Cup final. Also, too, don't forget, Chelsea did sack Antonio Conte, even though he did win the Premier League, wasn't in his first season. So, they sacked him. They also sacked Jose Mourinho. Don't forget, Jose Mourinho endured 2 spells with Chelsea. I think he won around 3 Premier Leagues with Chelsea, but the main explanation why Chelsea sacked Jose Mourinho is because they had problems with the club's doctor. They also sacked Villas-Boas. They sacked Ancelotti back in 2010, despite the fact that he won the double with Chelsea. So they have sacked a lot of managers. They sacked Villas-Boas. I think, Chelsea won the Champions League under Villas-Boas' guidance. Gus Higgins, he also got sacked. So yeah, Chelsea have sacked a lot of managers in a short period of time. But, they have got a lot of good players of Chelsea. I think they've got a very, very good youth set up. They've got the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, he looks a very, very good player for them. Billy Gilmore, he's just recently broke into Chelsea's team. Tammy Abraham, I like him a lot. So they have got a lot of good young players of Chelsea. But they've got a lot of good players in general. I do like N'Golo Kante. Chelsea paid around £32 million for him from Leicester. Kante, won the title in his first season with Leicester. Also won the title in his first season with Chelsea. Danny Drinkwater, I don't really have a perception on him because I haven't really watched Danny Drinkwater much. Ross Barkley, a very, very good player as well. He was at Everton for several years, but I think he's now making an impact at Chelsea. I think Marco Alonso's quite good for them. I think a mistake Chelsea did make, and that was getting rid of Eden Hazard last summer. Chelsea would have looked at it from a financial point of view and they've gone, look, we've got a lot of money for the player, but he was still a very imperative player for us. Eden Hazard, I think, served around, 7 years with Chelsea because Chelsea actually got him from Lille. At one point, don't forget, Chelsea did have a transfer ban, but they managed to their transfer ban obviously got upheld, so they would have been very, very delighted with that. So Chelsea, will look to make around maybe 2, 3, maybe 4. They'll look to get around 2, maybe 3, 4 signings in the summer. Don't forget Jadon Sancho still on their agenda. Obviously, they've been in for Jude Bellingham and that. So yeah, so that's the latest on some of Chelsea's transfer news. So possibly Coutinho could come back to the Premier League and join Chelsea. We've been in for him before. I don't think, Manchester United will get him, no. There has been actually, talks of him possibly making a return back to Liverpool, but I also don't see that happening. Maybe Philippe Coutinho now will come to regret the decision of ever leaving Liverpool. He'll believe now he should have remained loyal to them because Liverpool, now are obviously, very, very good. They've enjoyed a very, very good season. They've only lost once in the Premier League this season, and they are on course to win their first ever Premier League title, and they're going to end their 30-year drought. As it stands, Liverpool only need 2 wins to clinch their first ever Premier League title. But, the season will eventually resume because it has been extended indefinitely in that. But I think, the money anyway Liverpool got from Coutinho's departure, they spent £67 million on Allison, like I mentioned, and they spent £75 million on Virgil van Dijk. Of course, he is Liverpool's most expensive signing, I think, and he's the, second most expensive centre-half in the world. So that's a bit of news on Chelsea's transfer news. Now, I'm going to talk with you now a bit more about Manchester United. Obviously, I've been keeping up to date. Haven't I? What I mentioned to you guys earlier on today. Obviously, I've been talking with you guys about James Maddison. I've been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Jadon Sancho. I've also, been keeping up to date of what's been going on with Sal Niguez. So there has been a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda, and it is good that we are making plans for the summer transfer window. I do believe if Manchester United can get the right calibre players in this summer, I think we can challenge for the league next season. So I think Manchester United need to make around 3 signings or maybe 4 signings in the summer transfer window. Obviously, I think Manchester United can win the league within the next 2 to 3 years, probably. We are still one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history, a fantastic fan base. We are the most successful team in England. We've won 20 titles, 13 of them Premier League titles, but we haven't won the Premier League for 7 years. The last time we won the Premier League was back in 2013. in Alex Ferguson's last season and that, but since then Manchester United have not won it. But like I've said to you I do believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does deserve at least another season with Manchester United, because Solskjaer, if he's given another season at the football club, that he's got many expectations to exceed. And I know there's been reports saying like if Man United fail to get qualification for the Champions League and that Solskjaer could still be axed at the end of the season, but I don't see it happening. I think we're going to see what happens next season. Then if it doesn't work out, then I think the club will get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But he's been here for 15 months now. He has been at the football club over a year. But the main explanation why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job on a permanent basis is reflecting on, what he did when he was the interim manager, because he enjoyed a good 3 months with Manchester United. Solskjaer won his first 8 games. He only lost one of his first 17, and he won 14 out of 19 in all competitions. So reflecting on that, that was enough to give him the job permanently. Obviously, I've pinpointed some positives out from Solskjaer's tenure, and I've also pinpointed some negatives out because he has been permanent Manchester United manager now for a year. The positives is that, Solskjaer has recruited 5 good players into the football club in 3 transfer windows, and he's spent around £220 million. Also, he's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in, which is very, very good news. We've seen like 9 players leave Manchester United, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, Young left this year. He went to Inter Milan after he enjoyed 8.5 years at Man United. Rojo went to Estudiantes on loan. We'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer, I should presume, when his loan spell ends with Estudiantes. We also got rid of Chris Smalling last summer. He's now at Roma on loan, but again, I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. Darmian left last summer. Herrera left last summer. Fellaini left in January 2019. He went to China. Lukaku and Sanchez both left. And of course, Dean Henderson is out on loan. So a lot of players have left, but Solskjaer is planning, to get rid of around 5 or 6 players in the summer transfer window. Also, I've got to give Solskjaer a lot of credit, because I think he's promoted the youth very, very well, and the young players have been given their opportunities this season. Which is very, very good, and that I've been impressed with the likes of Mason Greenwood. I've been impressed with Brandon Williams. James Garner, I think, needs to get a bit more opportunities going on into next season. Been very, very impressed with Brandon Williams. I've been impressed with a lot of the young players. I think it's the youngest Man United team. It's the youngest team in the Premier League this season. But there is a lot of young players in the squad that are developing and trying to improve. Diego Dalot, I don't really have a perception on him at the moment because he hasn't really played that much this season because he's had a couple of injuries. Tuanzebe, he was good earlier on in the season, so it's good, that the young players are getting given their opportunities. But when Solskjaer first came in anyway, he said all the players will get their chances to express themselves, and he has given all the players their opportunities. So that's another positive you can take. We're into the FA Cup quarter-finals, we're into the Europa League last night. That's also another positive, and that is a chance of us getting some silverware on the board, because we haven't won out yet in terms of silverware under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But we need to get some silverware on the board because we have lacked silverware in the last 6 or 7 years. So they're the positives. And another positive is that, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. And this is our best vein of form since Solskjaer was the interim manager. I think Solskjaer's approach to the big games have also been very, very good because we've done well against the top 6 sides this season. We've registered like 17 points against the top 6 sides this season. But the negatives is that, we have enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever. So it's our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. Since Solskjaer got the job permanently, his record has been disastrous, so that's also another negative. But there again, Solskjaer's record was disastrous at, Cardiff. Solskjaer only enjoyed a very short tenure with Cardiff. He only managed around 29 games, but the main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got Cardiff relegated. He is inexperienced as a manager, Solskjaer. That's also another negative, because Man United is the third club he is managing in his managerial career. Because before he came to Man United, like I mentioned, he was at Molde. Did quite well at Molde, to be fair. Won a couple of Norwegian titles. And like I mentioned before, he was at Molde. He was at Cardiff. He also managed the Manchester United reserve team, don't forget, for a couple of years. So we'll put that into the equation as well. He managed the Man United reserve team from 2008 to 2010. So obviously, he watched from this team at this day and age anyway grow and develop, did Solskjaer. But, if he's still here, Solskjaer in the summer transfer window, it will be his fourth transfer window as Manchester United manager. I don't know the spending spree he's going to get. I think, we are going to spend a substantial amount in the summer on bringing more players in. But we do need to address the deficiencies in the squad. And, you've just got to take into account Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team. Because, like I've said before, analysing the vast majority of this team, it isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's. Jose Mourinho recommended 11 players to Manchester United and spent around £400 million. And there's still 9 of those players here from the Jose Mourinho era. And Jose Mourinho endured 2.5 years at Manchester United. But the main explanations why it didn't work out under him is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players, and the board went back in the signings that I wanted to recommend in. And I just feel as though that Manchester United recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. You can maybe say we should have recommended him in after, the Alex Ferguson era. But yeah, that's why it didn't work out under Mourinho. But he did win 2 trophies in his first season and got a second place in his first season. There's still a couple of players here from the Van Gaal era, put into the equation as well. Van Gaal, recruited quite a lot of players in. The vast majority of the players that Van Gaal brought in have now left. Obviously, Schneiderlin's no longer here. Schweinsteiger's not here. Daley Blind's not here. Falcao's not here. Memphis Depay's not here. So Louis Van Gaal, did bring quite a lot of players in, but there's still Martial here from the Van Gaal era, Luke Shaw and that here from the Van Gaal era and stuff like that. But, we did win the FA Cup under Louis Van Gaal's guidance, but, his philosophy wasn't right for the club. We've still got Matter here from the David Moyes era. He did recruit 2 players in Moyes. That was one Matter and Fellaini, but like I mentioned, Fellaini is no longer here. So, yeah, Solskjaer's inheriting all of them players that the managers have brought in that are still here. There's still Jones and De Gea here from the Alex Ferguson era. Man United have spent nearly £1 billion on recruiting new players in the last 6 or 7 years. And we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era. But Manchester United have been playing catch-up for the last 6 or 7 years. We have been playing catch-up, but we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 6 or 7 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been inconsistent, but not only the explanation. When Ferguson retired, he made a mistake by obviously, ever recommending David Moyes in. The main explanation at that time why Ferguson recommended Moyes in is because there was both Scottish, but that's the only mistake Alex Ferguson made. Ferguson endured 26-27 years at Man United, so he was a long-serving manager. Obviously, in his first 4 years, Ferguson didn't win anything. And obviously, he was under pressure at that time. And I think he was like 1 game away from getting the sack. But he didn't. And then look what Ferguson went and accomplished after not winning out in that 4-year period. It was unbelievable what he went and accomplished, Alex Ferguson. And I'm very sceptical that Solskjaer will invoke Ferguson's legacy at the football club and that. But yeah, so like I've said to you, we've got to get the right players to Manchester United in the summer. Jadon Sancho, I think it's looking very, very imminent that Manchester United are going to sign Jadon Sancho in the summer transfer window. It's been revealed how much Jadon Sancho will cost us. He will cost us around £120 million. He's going to cost us at least £100 million. But either figure is going to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and he's going to make him our most expensive player. Because obviously our most expensive signing at the moment is Pogba, who we paid £89 million for. But yeah, we're willing to meet what Borussia Dortmund are demanding, but Borussia Dortmund do remain ruthless over their valuation. They're not going to let him go on the cheap, even, with this coronavirus pandemic. You know, the Borussia Dortmund CEO, by the way, said he won't stand in Jadon Sancho's way if he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. Manchester United are willing to offer Jadon Sancho £400,000 a week. That figure would make him our highest paid player as well as our most expensive signing. And we're willing to offer Jadon Sancho the iconic number 7. And like I've said to you before, we've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Obviously, Rashford has given his overarching view on this, and you know he wants Jadon Sancho at Manchester United next season because Jadon Sancho will go well alongside Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial, and he will complement our attacking line really, really well. Will Jadon Sancho? But yeah, I think he's coming to Manchester United in the summer. Sky Sports have just come out and said that Jadon Sancho may stay at Borussia Dortmund if the season is extended until July. But he's already confirmed that he wants to leave Borussia Dortmund. Now, obviously, Man United have been in contact with Jadon Sancho's agent for around 2 months. Fabrizio Romano broke out that news the other week, and he tends to be reliable. He's a very reliable Italian journalist, is Fabrizio Romano. Duncan Castles back in February said that Man United are the favourites to sign him in the summer. And the Irish Independent came out recently and said that it's unofficially confirmed that Jadon Sancho will complete a transfer to Manchester United in the summer. So this is what it said. But you know, there's been the likes of Liverpool that have been in for him. But it recently, you know, said that Liverpool have dropped their interest now in Sancho. Also, to Chelsea, like I said, are still in there for him. But there's been a few clubs that have been in for Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is now into his 3rd season as a Borussia Dortmund player. Since his arrival in Germany, I've got to be honest with you, I think he has been a revelation, to be fair. He's still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. Borussia Dortmund only paid 7 or 8 million, was it, for him from Man City. So Dortmund are going to make a huge profit on the player. But the beneficial thing is that, you know, he's got a good friendship with Rashford. He's played in the Premier League before. And I think he'll do really, really well at Manchester United. The reason he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities at Man City. But his agent come out yesterday, I think it was, Sancho's agent that is, and he said that, you know, he shut down links to Chelsea and Liverpool. We was relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho last year. The main explanation why we didn't get him last year is because we had no Champions League football to offer. Just recently turned 20 years of age, by the way. And I think a lot of young players are excited about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy. His transfer strategy is, you know, recruiting young players in like he did do last summer. But Sancho, you know, will do really, really well for us. So that's the news on Jadon Sancho. Like, I'm basically reiterating what I've mentioned on my previous videos regarding him. So I think he'll be our 6th signing overall under Solskjaer. That's if Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager next season. Saul Niguez, I can't assure that, you know, Manchester United will sign Saul Niguez in the summer transfer window. Like I updated you on my recent video that I did earlier on today. It says, you know, that Ed Woodward has made a transfer decision on Saul Niguez, and Man United do want to recommend him in the summer as an adequate replacement for Pogba. But the only the stumbling block in this is that Man United are only willing to pay £70 million for Saul Niguez, and Atletico Madrid have said they want around £132 million. So that's like half than what Atletico Madrid want. You know, it's half than what Atletico Madrid want because we're only willing to pay £70 million. Atletico's release clause is £132 million. Or it might be £135 million. But it's in the £130 million range is his release clause. Now, obviously, if we was willing to pay this would make him one of the most expensive players in the world and our most expensive signing. But I'm very, very sceptical that Manchester United will pay £130 million for Saul Niguez. Now, obviously, you know, Saul Niguez has spent the vast majority of his career with Atletico Madrid. He's been at Atletico Madrid now around 12 years. And he's gone on to make 286 appearances in all competitions. Don't forget, he's got a long-term contract with Atletico Madrid. He's still got 6 years remaining on his contract. He's under contract with Atletico Madrid until 2026, is the player. And back in 2017, which was 3 years ago now, he signed a 9-year contract with them, did Saul Niguez. Solskjaer is only the age of 25. Solskjaer can play as a central or a defensive midfielder. When he was younger, he was predominantly a centre-half with Solskjaer. So do you think if he was to come in, he would complement our midfield very, very well? And we have got good midfielders as it is now. You've got Fred that's really making an impact. He's been given his opportunities this season under Solskjaer. And, that's very, very good to see. Man United paid £50 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. But he never really got his opportunities under Mourinho. But Fred has confounded his critics wrong. Matic has done really, really well. Don't forget the other week, we triggered that 1 year extension on the Nemanja Matic's contract. The main explanation why we triggered this 1 year extension on his contract is reflect on how good he's done. He is behind the likes of Fred and McTominay. He's like our third choice, he's Nemanja Matic, but he's done well and he's now in his third season at the club. And we paid 40 million for him from Chelsea. I've got to say McTominay's done really, really well. So do you think he'd do very, very well, Solskjaer, alongside Bruno Fernandes in our midfield? Because Solskjaer wants someone to partner up with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield. And probably, Solskjaer, would complement him, to be quite honest. But, Bruno Fernandes is definitely making the difference in the team. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Bruno Fernandes, don't forget, won Premier League Player of the Month for February. But Solskjaer does want to recommend a midfielder in. But yeah, we're looking for a replacement for Pogba, and it's not assured that Pogba's going to leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window. It's if and buts, isn't it, really? It's a big debate. And, these uncertainty over his future at the moment, but we need to resolve Paul Pogba's future. And Ed Woodward has been trying to resolve Paul Pogba's future because he has held negotiations with Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola. And, Mini Raiola's made a number of public attacks against the club since the turn of the year. There's been talks of swap deals, of Ramsey coming to Man United as part of a swap deal of Pogba going back to Juventus. There's obviously, been talks of De Ligt coming in and Pogba going back to Juventus. So as one of these swap deals, may happen. And swap deals are very, very rare in the modern game. They don't happen too often. But some United fans believe Pogba will stay. He'll be at Man United next season. And some United fans, do believe he will leave in the summer transfer window. Because Pogba revealed last summer that he wanted to leave Manchester United, but he never did. But last summer we priced him out of the market because we wanted £180 million for the player. And that was just over double than what we paid for him from Juventus. Because we paid £89 million for him from Juventus. You see, so yeah, so I think Pogba's got the same perception as he did have last summer. He still wants to leave Manchester United. Obviously, it said a couple of weeks ago, this was in Solskjaer's press conference in Austria. He said, that Pogba will remain at Man United next season. So in a way, he was reiterating what Pogba had said himself a couple of weeks ago. Because Pogba said a couple of weeks ago he was interested in staying at Man United and he was interested in extending his contract at the club. Pogba's got, a year left on his contract with an option to extend it for a further year. I think Man United will trigger this 1 year, extension on his contract. Said recently, that we were set to hold negotiations over getting Pogba a new contract at the club. But if he leaves, he'll go to Real Madrid. If he doesn't go to Real Madrid, I think he'll make a return back to Juventus because he did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. But yeah, so we're in the market now for a replacement for him. James Maddison, obviously, he came out earlier on today and revealed the best players he's played with, and that's Rashford, Maguire and Jadon Sancho. So that's fueled a bit of speculation up. I basically think, we are seeing James Maddison as an alternative to Jack Grealish because there's been rumours saying now that Man United could miss out on Jack Grealish. The main explanation is following the incident with his £80,000 Range Rover, so we could possibly miss out on Jack Grealish. But I'd take either of them at Manchester United because I think Grealish is a very good player. I think Maddison's a very, very good player. But I would take either of them at the football club. So there's so many players on our agenda. But Solskjaer's got the backing of Ed Woodward and he's also got the backing of the Glazers. The Premier League clubs are in lockdown, with the coronavirus. Solskjaer has revealed that he's been in regular contact with our, players and staff via the WhatsApp. And he also, said that the NHS workers are real heroes. So another good thing I like about Solskjaer as well, he has got a lot of honesty about him. He's not stubborn around. He's got a lot of honesty about him. And he's aware of the pressure, that he has been under this season. But I think he just deserves time. He was a great player for the football club. He may not become he may not succeed as a manager, but we'll have to wait and see, because we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, and there hasn't only been problems with the management throughout the course of this season anyway. I've on my other videos I've talked to you guys about Harry Kane, haven't I? I might talk with you a bit more about Harry Kane maybe tomorrow. Tottenham, don't forget, they said they want 200 million for him. I've spoken with you obviously, about Erling Haaland. It says reportedly Man United are back in for him. So there's so much transfer news, to negotiate about. But yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.